From Cali to Tally, it's time to wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source, and this is Wake Up War Chant. Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hudjavandi and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What up, everybody? We're back. We are back. Corey and myself. Why do you? I mean, we're 5 seconds into it, and you're already
not even 5. I think it was about a half a second.
My goodness, like Florida State's football season the last few years. It's over before it even started. He's Corey Mazon. We're here in the Midtown offices. Took the day off. Pay homage to the King. Sorry if you guys are expecting a show on Monday, but there wasn't a shortage of news. We could have came on and done a show, but we just didn't because we're lazy.
Well, yeah, and it was a holiday. Also, thankfully for the Florida State Seminoles recruiting Twitter account, they paid homage to the King as well in a graphic that can only be described as not smart. But either way, but they apologized. They did the right thing. They apologized.
Yes.
We all move on.
Yes.
It wasn't it's just not well thought out. Not a lot of checks and balances there maybe between the graphic person and the person that tweeted it, and maybe somebody that would have a say and say, oh, well, that's not a good idea. But anyway, if you don't know what we're talking about, you can Google it.
Yeah, it got deleted. It's such a stratification. By the way, join the family. WarChant 30 free days of access to WarChant.com. Do it now. You'll have access through National Signing Day, which is that first Wednesday in February. And you need to know what's going on with the recruiting. Michael Langston will let you know on WarChant.com. Use the promo code WarChant30. It just shows you the stratification of Florida State fans, because somebody started a thread on the Tribal Council that was like, did you guys see this? What are we doing? And then people respond like, I don't know what the big deal is. Must be a slow news day. Well, no, it's his day.
Yeah.
It was his day,
yeah.
And we did that.
You don't,
Just don't do that kind of. And then people are like, I don't understand why a bunch of betas in this thread. You guys would give Florida State a bad name. You guys are the only ones that are bringing it up. The fan. It's like, no, this is being talked about. It's silly. It was on High Noon with Pablo Torre and Bomani Jones.
Deadspin did something on it. Yeah. College Football News did something on it. It's just not awful announcing.
Yeah, you just we do bad things every now and then, and you just got to own it.
But they did. To their credit,
yes, they did.
They did own it. They said it was foolish. The person that actually did it came out on his Twitter feed and said that it was dumb. They said it was foolish and he regretted it. So, but it was all over within an hour, an hour and a half. But
the actual person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was good. It was fine. It was just a mistake they made.
Yeah.
But we all make mistakes. No, it's just a little. Maybe not that. Maybe not.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Put a Nike glove on Dr. King.
My goodness. Have you ever been to the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis?
No.
I heard it's amazing. Time has frozen still in there. The hotel that Dr. King was assassinated. I heard it's one of the more eye-opening sort of amazing sort of museums, if you will, that we have in this great country of ours. I do want to go check it out one of these days.
Well, and they have the memorial in Atlanta that I've been to. Yeah.
You and Stephanie keep wanting to go on these journeys throughout the Southeast. Maybe go to Memphis. Memphis is
that's
drivable.
on the list. Beale Street.
Yeah.
The
Rendezvous Barbecue.
The Florida State guy, is it Barry Jenkins, the guy that did Moonlight?
Yes.
He did If Beale Street Could Talk, which I think, as you're listening to this, that will have announced the Academy Award nominations. I think that will be one of them for Best Picture. It's supposedly really good, but that one's called If Beale Street Could Talk, which is set in Memphis. So, that's another reason to go to Memphis.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of WarChant.com.
That we can go see the Grizzlies.
Yeah, the Grizz. See, maybe they'll play Trae Young in the Hawks.
Yeah. And the Hawks will figure out a way to win.
I feel terrible. I think somebody I playfully poked fun at somebody earlier in the year for posting a thread that was just ridiculous, on July or January 2nd. I'm like, this is going to be one of the top 5 most ridiculous threads of the year, and I can say that right now with full confidence. I guess apparently that thread got deleted because I couldn't find it.
Oh,
so I'm like, well, shoot, because another thread is gonna stay there. We got 350 something days left in the year, 340 something days left in the year. Don't make me do the math, folks. This will be in the top 10. So I saw this, and I gotta admit, I read this on Monday night at 10 p.m. So my mind wasn't in the right place. So I'll defend myself on that, but I'm probably just as dumb as whomever. Anywho, the thread is, anybody see this? ? Walt Bell.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, what did Walt Bell say? What did he do this time?
Uh-oh.
Walt Bell tweeted out, on Sunday. Okay, I read this on Monday. He tweeted this out on Sunday night at around 10:15 p.m. Don't bet against 12. The number 12. Don't bet against 12. The person who started the thread said 12 retweeted it. 12 being Deondre Francois. Maybe he puts up great numbers next season. I, for one, would like to see JB, James Blackman, get a legit shot. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. I'm like, what? Like, Walt Bell, have you not done enough here? Like, you're feeding into the don't bet against Deondre Francois. Like,
but
why?
I'm doing the math in my head. At that time of night, it was probably Tom Brady.
Yes.
Another famed number 12.
Yeah.
When people say number 12 and they're talking about quarterbacks, it's either typically Brady or Francois. You don't know who they're talking about. It's one of the two typically. Bradshaw, was Bradshaw 12?
Yes, he was.
So those are your three, but usually because the current quarterbacks, the current crop, it's Francois or Brady. So I can understand how you would think he's talking about Francois in that moment because of all the news about, Blackman staying, Francois staying.
Hurts not coming.
But it probably had more to do with Brady throwing those ridiculous passes in overtime.
Yeah.
By the way, D Ford, man, just stay on sides. Just stay on side. The ball's right there, man. If you see where the ball is and you back up half a foot, the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl because Brady, as great as he was in overtime, threw a pick that would have ended the game. Yeah. But you gave him new life.
But yeah, people, I don't like the whole number thing. Like 23 is Michael Jordan. Everybody knows that. Like 12, like people like TB12, man, here comes TB12 doing TB12 things. Who calls him TB12? I know he has his own product line or whatever, but come on. I don't call him TB12. I don't think of 12 like I love Joe Montana. When I hear 16, I'm like, oh, that's Joe Montana. It could have been.
I've said for years, literally decades now, that we're so lazy when it comes to nicknames.
Yeah, we are.
Back in the day, Willie Mays with the Say Hey Kid. Yeah. Babe Ruth was the Sultan of SWAT. Mm-hmm. Ted Williams was I don't know what Teddy Ball Game. He had the Splendid Splinter. Yep. Awesome nicknames. And now we just give up. Like, oh, it's AJ16, whatever their number is, and then that's what they're.
Like CP3 was funny because CP3.
3-0, yeah. But no, if his name was Donald Paul, he'd still be called DP3.
Yeah, Christian Ponder was CP7. Like, come on, guys.
No, it's all nonsense. We're really lazy when it comes. I thought Durantula was not a bad one for Durant, but he doesn't like that. He just wants to be KD, which is initials.
Durantula's great. Slim Reaper's great.
Yeah.
James Blackman is not the Slim Reaper. The Slim Reaper is Kevin Durant. But anyhow, all right, so that's what's going on WarChant.com. Also, while we were gone, why not make a coaching announcement? When you have a fan base that is absolutely wounded from what you put them through, for the course of, 97 days, 113 days, however long the football season shakes out to being, why not just draw everything out as long as possible and announce it on a holiday week on a Sunday that you're going to bring in a guy that's a hometown guy, help win you a national championship, and he's coming back to be your receivers coach.
And in the middle of the two conference championship games.
What are we doing?
Well, not from that standpoint, probably could have been handled better. Probably could have been done on Monday or Saturday or Tuesday or 2 weeks ago, whenever. But the bigger story is that they got Dugans.
Yes.
Dugans is back. He will be the receivers coach. We'll figure out what David Kelly's role will be on this team, but he will have one. But yeah, man, that's good news. Dugans is a hometown kid. Yep. Not just he played here. He went to high school here. Scored 2 touchdowns in the Virginia Tech National Championship game.
I think he had 2 catches for 99 yards.
Yeah, 2 scores, right? Yep. Yeah. He also, Peter Warwick threw a touchdown to him, and in the big 98 win over. He just had a lot of good moments. The 98 win over Florida. He just had a lot of good moments in the Garnet and Gold. And more importantly, because again, I've said on this show many a time, I don't know how much receivers coaching gets done by a receivers coach other than this is the route you're supposed to run and try to block. A lot of it is God-given, but he does have a lot of connections, obviously, because he's been at Miami for however many years. He has connections in the state. He has connections in South Florida, and that's really big moving forward to have a guy like that on your staff.
Yeah, I was incorrect. Dugans had 5 catches for 99 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, all right. So, yeah. Including like a 70-yarder. He had a long one in that game.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's back. That's good. That's a good hire. And again, to your point, I don't know how much a receivers coach is going to make a difference. Like if I could subpoena anybody from 2018, I almost kind of would be like Walt Bell. Just get him under oath. because he's such a convenient scapegoat for everything. Well, they didn't get lined up. He obviously didn't coordinate things fine, and he sabotaged everything. He let Sam Howell, the great Sam Howell, go to North Carolina. I just don't know how much he could have, how much bad juju on that 18 team offensively was because Walt Bell didn't do things right. So bringing in a guy like Dugans, how much more improvement. You have Kendall Browse, and if you're going to let Kendall Browse do everything, that's an instant upgrade. And then I think Dugans, if anything, just like the spiritual guidance of a guy like Dugans probably. And I love David Kelly. I think David Kelly's great. David Kelly's one of the more intriguing guys to watch during practice, the way he would talk to guys, the coaching that he would do. But I don't know, I think maybe Dugans just brings a little bit more of a less cordial. I don't want to say cordial, but I think Dugans will get up on people and demands. Not that David Kelly wasn't demanding things, but I do think Dugans just brings a youthful sort of voice. And if everyone's talking about, players are going to love come playing for Willie, they can relate to Willie better and blah, blah, blah. Well, they'll probably be able to relate to Ron Dugans probably a little bit more than David Kelly.
Yeah, and, he's a national champion at Florida State. It's his alma mater. He played in the NFL. That carries some weight with recruits. I do think recruiting is the biggest deal. And, again, when you look at the staff, so far you've gotten you don't have two coaches from last year's staff. David Kelly will still be on the staff in some capacity. So you've lost Alonzo Hampton and you've lost Walt Bell.
I like to call him Gonzo.
Gonzo Hamilton. So he's gone. So Hampton and Bell are gone, and you replace them with Kendall Browse and Ron Dugans. Those are both, in my opinion, significant steps up. That's good, man. That's good. If you're looking at it, that you had a head coach that obviously realized some stuff had to change. Now, some stuff did change in Miami with Rick getting fired and Dugans getting fired. He was available again. But you see a guy in Taggart that is willing to make changes, that knew he had to make changes, is not stubborn, and has improved his staff, in my opinion, pretty dramatically in the last month. Now, it's not coming as quickly as anyone would like. We heard about Dugans, I don't know, man, 2.5 weeks ago? We heard about Clements a month ago, it seems like, and he's still not official. So who knows with all this stuff, but it does seem that the coaching staff has gotten significantly better, in my opinion, in the last, 2 weeks, week and a half, 3 weeks?
It is interesting, though. I wonder, we haven't seen the contract yet. I'm sure we're probably filing a Freedom of Information Act to get our hands on the contract, I imagine. But the thing is, he's still on the payroll from Miami because he got fired. I'm pretty sure he signed a 2-year deal. I think he still has at least one more year of compensation coming towards him because he got fired. I should probably check that. But it feels like Florida State, I don't know if they're going to be able to maybe get a bargain out of him the first year because they really don't have to pay him a lot of money because he's still getting paid from Miami. But the fact that he's going to be a full-time assistant paid coach, I think that limits them what they could have done. I guess the thought was that this was being delayed because maybe they were going to leave David Kelly as a receivers coach and then bring Dugans in as a analyst or a QC guy because they wouldn't have to pay him a lot of money. But the fact that he's going to be a full-time on-field assistant coach, he can do everything. He can go on the road and recruit kids. He can recruit kids when they come on campus. Because if you're an analyst, you can't go off campus to recruit kids, and obviously that's one of the more appealing things about Dugans is his ability to connect to kids and bring them in.
And I think David Kelly, his strength is being a behind-the-scenes guy, being a director of player personnel,
organizing,
and a recruiting. I know he probably won't be a recruiting coordinator, but he'll have his hands in the recruiting and just being one of those guys, being a right-hand man for Taggart, being a director of player personnel, being an ops guy. I think that's kind of where he probably shines. That's what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. He didn't come to Florida State. He didn't come with Taggart to be a receivers coach. It was kind of a, hey, will you do this? Now you have a guy that's been doing it for a while, that's worked with Willie, that spurned you last year for unknown reason. I don't know why he did it, but obviously now he's back. And so, when you look at it, Willie did not get his first choice last year at receivers coach. Well, now he has that guy. Mm-hmm. So, again, you're starting to see the staff that Willie really wanted. I don't know if he wanted Briles 2 years ago and didn't get him. But either way, again, you've taken a step up, in my opinion, in both positions, and that's certainly not a bad thing. The program is better now than it was December at this time, a month ago.
My thing is it's weird to look at it because last week the schedule comes out and we go in there week by week and we're like, well, they win this game. By the way, your column was great, man. Up top.
Thanks, buddy.
That was fantastic.
9-3.
Stephanie, you know how good your man did on that column?
Always.
Crushed it. Yeah. Crushed it.
Stephanie, the better half of the Clark, Corey, Stephanie combo joining us here in the Midtown offices as well. The column was hilarious, man. My favorite part was week 6 bye. The Knolls are 5-0 and building a church for the homeless or something.
Yeah,
they're now a national love story or whatever.
Yeah, and then Clemson came.
Yeah. So we go in there week by week and we start picking out these games. They'll win this one, they'll lose that one. They'll win this one, they'll lose that one. That's probably the better way to look at it. I wonder, when you look at it through the prism of what they were last year in terms of the coaching and like what they are now, I mean, to me, I think you'd almost look at it way more optimistically if you're looking at it through that prism.
Sure.
When you think, okay, they were 5-7 with that schedule and these guys coaching these players in these positions, and now you have that schedule. No Notre Dame, obviously, no Virginia Tech, which was kind of a gimme in hindsight, but anywho. And then you're like, dude, they have freaking Kendall Browse as their OC. You talked about it. Like, it's in his DNA. Like, I don't go on football fields on Saturdays and score less than 30 points. It's against my family code. Dugans, coaching receivers. It's like that's got to translate into, winning games. I mean, it has to more than 5 games. And I guess maybe when you look at that schedule, then you can become a little more optimistic about a game like at Virginia. Like, well, you know what? I feel good about our chances. Because after we got done doing that episode, I was just like, what would because none of us thought it was going to be 5-7 last year.
Of course not.
So
yeah.
But if you would have like given us that schedule after the Syracuse game when we were at our lowest point almost, and been like, all right, like Boise's a loss, Louisville, I don't care if they're going to do coaching staff, it's probably a loss. I would have probably said they were like 1-4 going into the bye week if you would have given me that schedule and after the Syracuse game last year. But now it's like, time heals all wounds. You're like, man, they're going to probably be 4-1 going into that bye week. Let's get some.
They very well could be. None of those games, when you look at them, are games that the automatic L's. Right. And look, they could lose to Boise State. They could lose at Virginia. I mean, they could lose theoretically almost every game they play. We're
thinking Florida State's going to be better because they have Kendall Browse.
Right.
Why can't Louisville be better because they got a new coaching staff? It's like, that's going to take them a while to figure things out.
Sure, yeah, they could be.
I mean, Kendall Browse day 1, let's go, 38 points.
And the part, obviously, the people that really understood the column I wrote, it was heavily tongue in cheek. I'm not against them going 9-3. I think that's a possibility, but one of my reasons that they would beat Virginia is because they wanted revenge for Tony Bennett ruining college basketball. So, the reasoning wasn't all there. It was just, something to write about the schedule because that's what people do when a schedule comes out and you go week by week and say that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win. Yeah. You can't really do that with Florida State anymore. You just can't. And you really can't do that in college football anymore, period, unless you're Clemson or Alabama. There aren't many games where you just
Alabama's done, bro.
They're done. That dynasty's done.
Do you see all these people they're hiring?
I mean,
they're making some weird hires.
He loses a lot of assistants
every year, but he replaces them with really good guys, though. Yeah. And it's like, well, Charles Countley.
I wonder, when we talk about when and he's going to retire at some point, so I shouldn't say if and when because the if isn't there. He will retire. I wonder if that will be kind of what pushes him out finally. Is like, man, it's not every year he has to recruit another batch of kids, 25. He also has to recruit another 4 or 5 coaches every year. Like there's no continuity at Alabama, which he's awesome, so they always win anyway. But man, that's got to be exhausting.
He likes it though. He talks about the new voices, like the new blood. It's a certain level of like chaos it brings that
but
you
just
need
the
to
interviewing
operate.
and the weight on your shoulders of, God, if I hire this guy, is this a good hire, a bad hire? Like, you'd love just some continuity.
Is a Sark hire official? Was that made official? Sarkisian's their OC?
I don't know. I don't keep track. Who knows? Yeah. I know Dirk Cutter's for the Falcons now.
Yeah. Pretty sure they're going with Sark.
Sorry, NFC South.
I think they went with Sark. Yeah.
Dirk Cutter's staying around.
Yeah. One thing I did want to bounce back to was that, talking about the way the news is slowly coming out from Florida State.
Miami's whole staff has been hired.
Right. It's made this offseason so underwhelming, but I think our own Ira Schoffel, managing editor of WarChant.com, did a really great job on a column. I joke about Ira being the hope merchant, right? Like if you guys need hope and stuff, like I'm not that guy. I'm not going to bring that to the party.
No, that's not your deal. That's not your bag.
I'll bring some things to the party. I'm not bringing that. But I think when I saw the headline, I'm like, come on, Ira, we don't need to do this, man. We don't need to rally the troops in January. Let's just let it happen. But I thought it wasn't It wasn't Kool-Aid. It was really well written out. Because when you think about it, to our point, like if this would have all started, I mean, if you're talking the Wednesday after the Florida game, Alonzo Hampton fired, okay, and then 2 weeks, and then whenever Walt Bell ends up leaving, first week of December, and then I mean, it seemed like probably within 2 weeks of that, Kendall Browse was the guy. I mean, the Hugh Freeze thing came and went, and then it was going to be Kendall Browse. If Alonzo Hampton gets fired and Kendall Browse gets hired and Ron Dugans gets hired, if that happens within a 4-week span, you're like, damn, let's do this. Like, all right, he's got this whole thing figured out. But it's been closer to like 8 weeks, 10 weeks almost.
Yeah.
And when you spread it out that way, like, I don't know, you talk about Michael Langston talks about recruiting or momentum a lot in recruiting. Like if these things would have gone bang, 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 I think there's a lot more of a cheery feel around the fan base, and it really isn't right now. But I think Ira did a good job of explaining to folks, like, listen, when you put this all together, if it would happen over a different timeline, you'd all feel better. But at the end of the day, it's all happening. It's happened, and it's begun. Here we go.
The end result is the end result, whether it happened December 20th or January 20th. In the grand scheme, it doesn't matter at all. It's who's in place in April or late March when spring practice starts, and who's here in August. And the staff is better, and they're going to have at least, apparently 2 veteran quarterbacks still on the roster, so that's good too. The offseason hasn't been as bad as as it seemed like it was going.
That's still a thing, right? Deondre Francois Flores say that's still a thing, right?
Well, and James Blackman, as we reported, whatever that was a week ago, that he had never really put his name in there, and he's whatever the case may be.
The portal. He's going to put his name in the portal. Well, actually, he might be putting his name in the portal. Actually, wait, he never had his name in the portal.
But
ever.
it's really going to be interesting to me what spring is about, because I still think there's a thought that Francois, because he was short, I guess, of some credit hours to be a graduate, that he's going to do one more semester and then be a graduate transfer and then go somewhere else or stay at Florida State. So, again, are we going to have another quarterback battle between those two guys?
In the spring, yeah.
No, I mean in August.
Okay, unlikely maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if it's unlikely or likely.
Well, that's the thing. If you're Francois,
he's not going to the NFL.
Clearly.
So the only choice he has is to go somewhere else after he gets his credit hours. But is he really? Why would he have done that huge Instagram post just to come back for the spring?
He felt the fan base. He knew the fan base was worried.
Sure.
Was just very disenchanted.
Yeah.
And
they didn't want to lose their quarterback.
He looked in the mirror.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, the answer to all of our ails is right in front of me right now. Coach, I'm going to let everybody know I'm coming back. Well, Deondre, all right, thanks, Coach, bye.
Yeah, I'm going to craft this Instagram post and be a better teammate. Sure, so either way, though, you're going to have, Briles has 2 guys to choose from. And I would say that really for the 3rd year in a row, these 2 guys will have a different coach. Willie's not. I don't think Willie's going to be that involved in that day-to-day QB coaching and the day-to-day OCing. So it's going to be Jimbo, Willie, and I guess Walt Bell was in there too, and then Kendall Briles. Briles might really love Francois or really love Blackman. So I think Blackman, I would get why he'd be, worried about his future at Florida State, but that dude is a Seminole, and I'm sure he was reassured and that he does have a legitimate chance to win the starting job. And I do think, again, it's not a scientific poll. I have not polled every Florida State fan. The people I talk to, the people I see on message boards and Twitter, I wouldn't say overwhelmingly, but predominantly want James Blackman to get a shot. And, I think they're kind of with me like, man, I don't know. We've seen a lot of Francois. But that also doesn't mean that he's not a good college quarterback. I guess it's better to have 2 options, and it's better for them, the competition. But we'll see who ends up winning the job. I would think Blackman might have a better chance than he did going into last year at least.
I do wonder.
And aren't they still recruiting quarterbacks, high school quarterbacks?
Yeah, Lance Legendre and
is
John
that how you say it?
Raz Plumley. He's from the New Orleans area, and it's spelled Legendre, I think.
Legendary? How does Ogeron say it?
We got a good quarterback outside New Orleans, Legendre. good Cajun boy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's how I say it. People call him Lance Legend because, I mean, if you unscramble the letters in his last name, it spells legend. But
all right.
He's got some great, I think, things he's trying to work through. But it does sound like, I mean, I think they're still maybe in the grad transfer market. But I do wonder, like, what is, if Francois, I mean, I understand, like, he might be a couple of credits shy, we're hearing. We don't know 100% sure, and it's hard to always get academic information on kids. But that's the reason why he's still here. But I know Everett Golson came to Florida State in August. I don't know if it really worked out for him in the end. Doesn't seem like it did.
I mean, he had that big win against Boston College up there.
It's huge.
Remember that?
I'm telling
National TV.
Was that the best drive? That opening drive against BC, was that the best offensive drive Florida State's had in the last?
Since Winston. Yeah, for sure. It was incredible. And then they just shut it down for the next 4 years.
Freaking ridiculous, man. Although, I don't know, they came out like gangbusters against Northern Illinois, I think, in their first drive. Did they not? They scored early and often against Northern Illinois.
Yeah, sure. That was the big win. Northern Illinois and Wake.
But, like, who's going to want Deondre Francois? Like, what is a likelihood, if he can't beat James Blackman, who's going to want Deondre Francois in July? Like, yeah, come to our program and maybe, you're going to read our playbook in 4 weeks and then you might be able to start 2 weeks after that.
I mean, you would think like a Northern Illinois type, a place like that.
He ain't going there.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't think he's going to play at Florida State. But, again, this is all speculation. We don't know. Yeah. That guy might be starting in Jacksonville against Boise State. I mean, I wouldn't bet against it at this point. I know you're about to vomit. But, I mean, again, if he has time to throw, if he's healthy, he is a solid, fine, decent college quarterback.
Who isn't? That's my
thing. He's a decent college quarterback. And we don't know
this team
if James Blackman is any better. We just don't. He wasn't great his freshman year either. He at the end of the year he was good as a freshman, and then last year he had the best game of any quarterback that Florida State had against NC State. But again, I don't know. He at least throws it up to Terry. He'll just take a shot. He does throw a nice deep ball.
I just feel like when people say, well, if he has time and he's healthy. And, everyone's doing their job.
Not time, like, of course. Like,
if Corey is in a 5-star hotel and has had a Michelin dinner that night, he'll write a great column. Well, good, I hope so.
Right.
I mean, like.
No, but not time is like, I'm not talking about time as it relates to other quarterbacks. I'm talking about Florida State time. Because typically, Florida State time for a quarterback is
one miss.
Yeah, said, Hut, oh, God, there they come. You throw it up for grab. I mean, they're all me right now. So, just time like a normal quarterback would have. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We will see because, again, I mean, I mentioned as a devil's advocate the other week, but, I mean, who knows how the trajectory of his career works out had Jimbo stayed and he not blown his knee out. Well, Jimbo's obviously still not here, but he's 1 year healthier. And I don't know, there is the whole urgency, this is your back against the wall last season, last hurrah thing. And, I mean, he could surprise us and, I don't know, maybe throw for like 3,800 yards and have 31 touchdowns and 13 picks. Yeah, I mean.
I will be interested if he does stay, like if he's here through the fall and he wins the job, how he'll be with the media. And, again, I know you people don't care how he treats the media. Nobody would. But the only time Florida State fans see Deondre Francois interact with people is on these videos where we're at, and if that will ever matter to him at all. Because I know we're a conduit, that where the fans get to know these players through us. And if he's the guy that still says, what's the biggest difference between Florida and Miami? Well, one's Florida, one's Miami. If he's that guy, I wonder if it'll ever click with him that, man, the fans, this is how you interact with the fans. I know you see a bald guy with a camera in front of you, or Aslan. Well, you're always dressed up nice. But you see these 10 dorks in front of you with cameras and microphones, and that's who you think you're talking to. But in reality, you're talking to 1 million Florida State fans, literally.
WarChant.com.
WarChant.com, baby. That's 100,000 right there.
Prestige.
So that's how you talk to fans. And will that ever click with him is when you're talking to us, you're not just talking to us, man. We disseminate this, and maybe you should change the message a little bit and just try to be a little more likable. Just try, even if it's fake. Just try.
That's the point I've been at where I'm like, just fake it for us. But I'm like, I don't know.
But not for us, man. Not for the media.
Yeah, I mean, for
if you care if you want to be a fan favorite,
right?
Then he would be Exhibit A if I was ever talking to an athlete of why it's important to just I don't know, not be gracious, but just be accommodating with the media. Because I do think, again, talking to Florida State fans and also being 5-7 helps. Like if he had gone 12-0 last year and was surly, nobody would care.
Yeah, listen, James told me to go get Ben. I'm like, whatever, James. Thanks for 13. Love you, bud.
Yeah, so I get that that's part of it too. But when your only way of communicating with most fans is through the media, and you clearly don't want anything to do with it, you're ready. You're rolling your eyes. You're ready to be done with it. The fans see that too, and they don't. You're not going to be beloved. You're just not. You're just not. And I don't. Maybe that's not important for a quarterback. It probably isn't if you're winning games. But when you're going 5-7.
I mean, the last point on that, just he was so refreshingly candid and human after games. When we would talk to him after games, he would give really thoughtful.
Yeah. He might not be a morning person. I'm telling you,
could be.
We're talking to him at 9:00 in the morning.
Kendall Browse, you want to get the best out of your quarterback.
3 p.m. baby.
3 p.m. baby.
That's all that matters. That's all anybody wants, man.
Yeah. Hey, let's peek behind the curtain real quick. Don't forget the thread for the Renegade Express is up on warchant.com. Leave your questions. We'll get to it later on the week, probably Thursday. Actually, we can't do voicemails because I don't have everything rigged up properly. Let me see if anybody wants to call us. 850-792-5730. We do have some new voicemails. I'll have to play them later on and see if they're worthy of bringing the heat and getting on here. But we're not in the business of giving stuff away for free. But this one thing I did see that came out on Sunday night, Gene reported that it's likely that Mickey's not going to be around this season.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the more bizarre questions that people would post, because I thought we were all on the same page with this. It was largely, what's
ceremonial?
Ceremonial, honorary kind of position. Like Bobby being a captain for a game. Like, oh, is he going to call a play? Is he actually going to run out there and do a play? No, he's like an honorary captain. Like it was like an honorary sort of thing to bring Mickey back, get him back around the team. He's had a lot of heartache in his life, and why not put him back around what makes him maybe the most happy in this world, and that is being a football coach. And be like, is he out there practicing? Like, I wonder, like, what is he saying to the players? Like, man, come on, he wasn't doing a lot of. It's funny because I think during the limited time that we did see practice, he seemed a lot more engaged during games than we did see him at practice. Like at practice, he was just kind of walking around.
Right.
During games, our guy was like beyond the white lines, yelling for calls. It was kind of cool to see.
It was not ceremonial at all.
I'm sure that's maybe part of the reason why. But again, I just think that that's maybe a change that people don't want to see. I think anytime you see Mickey Andrews walking around with the FSU hat on or a whistle around his neck, it's a really cool, warm feeling if you're a Florida State fan, at least of our age and our ilk. But again, I think it's just, I think Willie's probably at the changes that are being made, no stone is being left unturned, it seems like. But it'll be kind of a bummer to not have Mickey there. But again, folks, don't blame Harlan Barnett's shortcomings on Mickey. I don't think Mickey could have done anything to help out. I don't think he was ever brought along to be some sort of, like a 11th coach under the table. It was like he was going to,
but I
take
think
some notes and let them know what he thought was going on.
I also think that's hard for Mickey. I mean, when you've been the guy he's never been on a football field and not been the guy.
Right.
And so to come in and they're just kind of try to take a not a laid-back approach, but a hands-off approach, and I'll give them opinions when they ask for them. That's not Mickey's DNA, man. That's an alpha dog. He's not okay sitting back and just, if he sees something, not trying to coach it up. And he loves this university, and he hates losing. And you could tell on Saturdays when he was screaming at those refs how much he hated losing. So I just don't know if he's a ceremonial type speed of person. He's not a guy that's just okay. Yeah, I'll have a title, but I'm not going to really communicate with these kids or try to help out. That's just not his. That's not in his makeup.
Maybe thought it was.
He gave it a try. Yeah. Sure, I don't think it's anything he did wrong necessarily.
No,
but
I'm not saying that. At all,
if it just wasn't and I don't think it's not. If you say it's not a good fit, I don't mean it's not a good fit between Willie and Mickey. I think maybe it just wasn't a good fit between Mickey and the role of what he was asked to do or supposed to be doing.
Yeah. All right. Again, leave your comments and questions on the Tribal Council, warchain.com. Use the promo code warchain30 if you're not part of the family. The thread is up. It is there. Post it. We'll do it later in the week. What I wish I could pull up Vince Lombardi right here. What in the hell's going on out there? What's going on with the basketball team? I was at the wedding on Saturday. I didn't get to really watch.
I
was in the car. I was in the car driving back from Miami, which, by the way, I've done that drive
you
before.
Went to a wedding.
I've done that drive before with Michael Langston, and it really wasn't that bad. I shouldn't say this because maybe my girlfriend's listening to it and she thinks it's her fault. It's not your fault, babe. That drive sucks.
Sunday, you came back on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Sundays are the worst on that kind of drive. I don't know why.
How and the thing is, like, Florida State fans, there's huge swaths of Florida State fans in Dade, Broward County.
Sure.
What made you want to drive I know Tallahassee's awesome. To drive 7 hours to come to school here, and then you drive 7 hours to come watch us go 5-7. God bless you guys. That was horrible. I don't want to make that drive ever again.
You like them travel plazas, though, don't you? Those
I love them.
On a Sunday, those are great.
It's
not chaotic at all. Those places, good grief. I just want to I want to go to like a normal gas station, get a soda, get maybe a Reese's Pieces, and get back in the car. But at those travel plazas, no way.
I mean, it's just.
But no, I mean, it's an hour to get anything. Like if you want to, you see a Dunkin' Donuts, and you're like, you know what?
I do want a French cruller.
I want a donut. Yeah. I want a blueberry cake donut. Sure. Oh, wait, it's 44 people in line because it's a Sunday afternoon at 2. With the basketball team, man, if you can't shoot, you can't win. And not in this day and age, in 2019, it's hard, man. Unless you're Duke, who has the 2 number 1 picks in the draft, like they can play Virginia and not make any threes and still win because they got dudes that just make impossible shots.
Who won that game?
Duke did.
Okay.
R.J. Barrett had 30. Williamson had like 28.
And they're not number 1. Tennessee's number 1.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, Tennessee.
SEC.
That's right. It's SEC bias when it comes to basketball. So right now, man, Florida State, they don't have confidence, and they just their guards are not good. Savoy. So they started off. They played well in the first half.
They're
for
up
the most
by
part.
10. That was good enough, right?
Up by 10. They were up by 12. They put in Wyatt Wilkes because Leonard doesn't like to play 2 guys with 2 fouls. 10 seconds left in the half. Wyatt Wilkes tries to block a guy shooting a turnaround 17-foot jump shot, which if you're playing basketball and you've got a 6'9" guy attempting a turnaround jump shot with 17 feet, you've won the possession.
Yeah.
But my man tries to block it.
Unless it's Brady Clark. And
sure, well, that's bottoms. You need to get up on him.
Dude, what's going on with him?
He's crushing it, man. He's crushing it. 12 points, career high on Saturday. Gets the number 1 team in the league. And that was just 3 days after he hit the game winner. It's confidence. Florida State can learn something from that. A little confidence goes a long way. And Florida State just made some, they're not doing smart things. And then
is it him being a multi-sport athlete? Do you think Brady playing like baseball is paying dividends? Because you're not fatiguing him by making him play one sport and specializing.
Correct. Well, why would I? Because I want the options. I want 3 sports as an option. We haven't even started football yet.
When are we going to start? Are we going to let him do flag here in a few years, and then once high school starts, maybe?
I don't want him to take any unnecessary hits, obviously, until he gets to high school. Yeah. Probably not till his junior year will I even let him try out. Right. But that'll be enough.
Yeah.
Hey,
real quick, for real though, Drew Brees didn't play tackle football until he was a freshman in high school. It's worked out pretty good for him.
There you go. And when I see Drew Brees, the first thing I think of is Brady Clark.
I do.
And just the way their minds work, the arm strength,
same build, thick,
same build, all that stuff. Well, he's also got a weird birthmark on his face. Yeah,
good knee bend,
knee flexion. So yeah, man, I just think it's confidence. And Florida State right now has no confidence. They had a 10-point lead, and then what they do is they come out, I guess, thinking the game that they've got it made, and then they let the guy from Boston College hit 5 threes in a row. They let one guy on the not even the guy that scored 37. They had a guy that scored 30. They gave up 37 to one guy. And then the other guy who didn't score in the first half, they let shoot 5 straight wide open threes. 4 of them were wide open. Well, man, you can't – I know they're used to playing against themselves where they can't knock down open threes. But in the ACC, man, when you leave a good shooter open, they're going to knock it down. And right now it's that kind of attention to detail where they just let guys – you can't let a guy shoot like that. You can't foul like they fouled against Pitt. The one kid for Pitt was 18 of 19 from the free throw line. And they just, they had a chance to put that game away if they come out in the first 5 minutes and played well in the second half, and they didn't. And again, I go back to the Wilkes play.
Oh, damn, we're not even ranked anymore?
They're ranked in one poll. I think the USA Today, they're 23rd. But why? I mean, they lost 3 in a row, including 2 on the road and not good teams.
Man, yeah, 23rd in the coaches. The Riders are like, nope.
So you're up 12 with 20 seconds left. You've forced them into a bad shot. And the kid that never plays, because quite frankly he's not good enough to play, comes in and makes an impact in the game by fouling a guy needlessly, slapping his wrist when he's trying to block a shot.
That's right before half. What do you think that carried over into the second half?
No, but it's little things like that. Instead of a 12-point halftime lead, you got a 10-point halftime lead. And then they go on a 6-0 run, and then all of a sudden you decide, okay, now we'll put Cabingelli in the game. And by that time, they've got life, and it's a game again, and they feel like they're going to win, and then that kid catches fire. And, I mean, they were outscored in the first 14, 13 minutes of that half. They were outscored by 25 points. By Boston College, who couldn't do that to some good high school teams. There's no confidence. Cofer didn't play. I get that. That is a big deal. But until Savoy and MJ Walker start doing what they're on the scholarship to do, which is to knock down shots, man, this team's going to be okay. Nothing great. You remember Florida, when they destroyed Florida? Well, those two guys combined for like 10 threes. Those two guys alone. Well, they don't shoot. They can't shoot anymore. Savoy, the last two games, has hit threes when the game is completely out of reach in the final few seconds. Other than that, so there was a stretch there, and we'll leave it at this. So these are how games are won and lost right now. So there's a stretch where Florida State's up by 10 to start the second half. Savoy misses 3 wide open threes. And then they go down on the other end, and I think on him, they hit 3 straight threes. Well, that's a swing of like 15 points when you think about, okay, you would expect P.J. Savoy, your best shooter, to make 2 of 3 wide open threes. He misses all of them. They go down and hit theirs, and instead of being up by 19, well, now you're down. That's the kind of stuff that if you can't shoot in 2019 and this team is in a really bad shooting slump, if you can't shoot, man, in the ACC, what are you going to do? How are you going to win? Cabingelli's the only guy that can score in the paint. How else are you going to win? So they got to the guards have to start playing better, or you better start playing different guards. Like Forrest is always going to be good, but Walker and Savoy, if they're not hitting shots, they're killing you. So it's a big game for them tonight. They play Clemson tonight. Mm-hmm. Clemson's looking for a big win, and they've had 6 days off. Florida State's had 1. So Clemson really needs a win too. Clemson was a top 15 preseason team. They're talented. They went to the Sweet 16 last year. They brought everybody back from that team. So Florida State needs this win desperately, but so does Clemson. And if those guys can't shoot, if Savoy and Walker can't shoot, again, if that slump continues, then, man, they're going to have a hard time beating anybody in the conference. They still play. I mean, I thought they played hard.
Yeah.
You know, they gave up some open threes. They did some dumb things defensively in the second half, but I thought they played hard. Cabingelli's was awesome. But by and large, man, when you go, I think they were 1 of 10 in the second half from 3, first 19 minutes. You can't win like that in 2019 by not shooting threes, by not hitting threes.
Well, let's figure it out, guys.
Please. I like going to the NCAA tournament. It's fun.
That was great. If I didn't drop the camera last year, we would have been hanging out for like
That's
4
right,
days
man.
in
Yeah,
Nashville.
and then you could have gone to L.A., but yeah.
No, I couldn't have gone to L.A. because it was the first day of spring football with the Tigers.
Oh, that's right.
So
That's right. Starting that 5-7 campaign.
Yeah. Could you imagine Kentucky like, hey man, we can't go cover Cal in the final, in the Elite Eight. We got Stoops and the Cats.
The Wildcats are back on the gridiron. Well, that's a little different. They got different priorities out there in Lexington.
Yeah, no, basketball. I'm not selling my stock yet on the Noles, man.
I'm not either, but they've got to find they got to find some confidence, and you just cannot win in this day and age if you're going to shoot 25% from 3 or 22% from 3. Boston College it was nuts. I think they were 8 of 11 in the second half alone from 3, something like that. I mean, that's a lot of them were wide open too. You're going to lose that way. Make shots. At the end of the day, make shots, man, or go recruit some kids that can shoot. I know he loves the 7'3" kids and the 6'8" kids, but the game has changed. And if you can't make threes, then you're not going to win at a high level. You're not going to win at a high rate. And right now, last year, the difference between last year's team and this year's team is you had Angola who could shoot, although he went in some crazy slumps. And Cofer has played half the games. Cofer's your best three-point shooter. Angola was your second best three-point shooter last year. They're not on the team anymore, essentially. Cofer's been here for a few games. And Savoy isn't nearly what he was last year. You've got to find guys that can shoot. I thought Walker would fill that Angola role and be able to shoot. He's been dreadful from 3. He's got to figure it out, or they better start playing David Nichols a lot because that guy can shoot.
Well, that's the thing. They have guys that can. They haven't been. So
yeah, I mean, it's not like Savoy hasn't proven he can shoot. He's made big shots. In this season, I think he made 6 threes against Florida. And he's made the big shot against Xavier. He's a guy that can shoot threes and shoot well. I almost would tell him, man, when you go in the game, shoot 15 threes. Make 6. or make 4.
Right.
Just start seeing the ball go, because as this season goes on, you are not going to be able to win games if PJ Savoy can't help you if he's shooting like this from 3.
2 of 7, yeah.
That's not doing it for you, man. He's the guy that has to be the guy for you.
All right, great.
Know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? The wedding was fun. What I learned was...
What was the first dance? For the bride. Come on, man. You were there.
I know. I can't remember what the first dance... I know what they came into.
Nothing else matters. Oh, what'd they come into?
Nothing else matters.
That's a good... Metallica's a good first dance song.
Dude, the thing is, one of my good buddies... they had a really nice, they had a wedding inside of an old cigar factory in Tampa, and it was very, rustic, and it was good. It was very good. His wife is very bohemian. She digged it. It was really cool. They had one of our friends, play the acoustic guitar for them, during the wedding, when, the bridesmaids were coming out. I can swear to God, one of the songs he played was Nothing Else Matters.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice. That's a good feel. Yeah, nothing else matters but our love, babe.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Hetfield was saying? Yeah. That's a love song.
Oh, what was this song? I don't know what their first dance is. I'm sorry, I don't remember, but I know when they
chicken dance,
when the reception started, when it's everybody welcome in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It was bring them out. I swear to God,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So at my wedding, I don't know if I've told you this story or not, and it's cool with Stephanie sitting right here.
Hey, let's talk about your ex-wife.
I'll bring up my wedding with Shanna. But it was
no situational awareness. You're not going to be my game management guy when I become a coach.
Hey, when you have this much confidence and charisma, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I can talk my way out of it. But we did the remember when they used to introduce Michael Jordan with the dun 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 dun.
My cousin is a huge Chicago Bulls fan. They got married in Chicago and they did that.
So, but I didn't do it for us. But that was how we introduced the wedding party.
Okay.
And now, groomsman.
Yeah,
5'8",
your best
170 pounds
nice.
from Meadow Creek High School, all that. So that was I did that
sweet.
for my wedding. So people, you can steal that idea. It was really fun. People enjoyed it.
Nice. But no, what I learned was just dance like a complete idiot, and then you don't have to dance.
Oh, because the girl doesn't want to go out with you anymore.
Yeah, so that's what I kind of did.
Did you like the Elaine? What was your dance?
I was getting. I just had the juice, man. It was like I was at Big Daddy's, back in 2003 on the Strip, man, with PK Sam and my boys, just what up, holla.
Okay, all right.
But the thing is, she looked at me the way my mother would look at my father when my dad would do something that would embarrass her.
Had she seen? She's obviously seen you dance before.
No, when have we danced? We didn't go to nightclubs. I
thought y'all went and danced all the time.
No,
you're always inviting us out to go dancing.
No, we don't do any of that sort of stuff.
Oh,
but the wedding was in Coral Gables, which is really pretty. Coral Gables.
Sure.
Yeah. Met the father. We actually had brunch at his house, so we didn't have to worry about the whole I'll pay for the check, you pay for the check thing.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah.
You had brunch at the house.
Yeah, at her father's house. Yeah.
Okay. What do we go with? What do we have?
Well, apparently his wife went and got us donuts from sort of some famous donut place down there. I don't want to say it.
Krispy Kreme?
Exactly.
Okay.
Krispy Kreme actually sponsored a segment of my radio show in Dothan. I should reach out to them and see.
I feel like Krispy Kreme would sponsor the hell out of this show.
I would
especially because we're in the morning.
Yeah. Wake up!
I love Krispy Kreme, too, by the way. It's a free plug.
But so, the dad's wife went and got donuts, and then she's like, well, let's get some bagels. And I'm like, well, should we get some, egg sandwiches or some, breakfast burritos? I'm like, we need, I need something besides just donuts and bagels, just carbing up. So, actually, we went to some bagel shop there and got a bunch of egg and cheese bagels, but those were a big hit. Everyone's like, ooh, let me get one of those. I'm like, I told you, lady. You got to get eggs to start the day off. But, her brother showed up. Her sister showed up. I thought it was going to be, me, her.
Oh, had you met them before?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I haven't met anybody,
man.
Man.
Okay.
Anybody.
All right.
So, I think it went pretty all right. So, I'm still
just
here.
All right?
No, that went good. I felt good about it.
Okay. You felt like you hit it out of the park a little bit?
Told the whole story about I think that the brother is moving into an apartment. They were talking about the travails they had to deal with in the apartment they were living in before. I told them the story about getting peed on by the dog in my first apartment here in Tallahassee.
Well, there you
had
go.
A good laugh about that. Self-deprecation.
Did you tell them about the fight in South Bend?
I did not tell them about that.
They should listen to that episode of the podcast.
No. And I had something else poignant to share about the wedding, but no, that's about it. It was a good time.
Just love. It's so refreshing and wonderful, especially in these times where there's so much division in this country.
Yeah.
Just to see the love, just to embrace the love, and to feel humanity again.
Well, it was great because it was somewhat of a blended wedding. I guess like the groom
Right.
was Jewish and the bridesmaid Steph. Come on, wake up! She's like fading on me here.
I know.
And then the bride was I think she's Cuban or she's Latina. Is that what we're saying instead of Hispanic nowadays? Is that what it is? Stephanie's she's our politically proven. Or she gave a thumbs up on that. So it was funny because like they would play, whatever, like the music that the children dance these days, and nobody, and it would just be all the kids would get out there and dance, and then they would start playing like Latin music, and then like you'd see all the old timers get out there and start buzzing out, like, yeah, this is awesome, man, fantastic. They played like that.
Oh, all right. So that's what you were dancing to?
Oh, hell no.
Holding your hip? Oh, that's all right.
They gave everybody like a slip of paper. They were like, "What if you heard this song? What song would make you run onto the dance floor?" And I told them to put Rick Astley, "Never Gonna Give You Up." And they did it, but they played like a techno beat underneath.
Oh,
it. So
nobody wants that.
And I was telling Chris, and I'm like, when they play this song, I'm like, this whole place is gonna freaking erupt.
Well,
and then,
I don't know.
And then when they played it, it was just like
that didn't even count.
I'm like, no, man, don't do
was
that
hers?
to me. I don't remember what hers was.
Man, you don't remember anything about anyone.
I know that your birthday is the same day as Donald J. Trump.
But what holiday is it?
Flag Day, brother.
Oh, okay, there you go. Sweet.
Don't ever say
that. All right,
last,
and then we'll get out of here.
It's going long. Sorry,
tell
everybody.
people about the Cat Cafe and how awesome it was.
Oh, you're in shirt. We'll talk to you tomorrow. It's Wake Up War Chant.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.